Welcome to yet another episode. If you're new here, this is Life Notes with Paris. And today I'm talking about red flags that I ignored. And sometimes people don't understand what are red flags. Red flags are behaviors of someone that you feel you may not condone in future, or you actually don't really know. Because for me, to some extent, I think I was very naive and I didn't understand what was a red flag at that time. And number one of the red flags was silent treatment. How does silent treatment work? Silent treatment is when somebody actually hurts you. They do something that made you angry, and they just decide to go silent on you. They don't say sorry. They don't come back to you. They keep quiet. If you were chatting with them on WhatsApp, they no longer do it. If you were calling them or if they were calling you, they no longer do it. And so with silent treatment, it's a manipulative way whereby somebody knows you love them so much. And for that reason, you'll always come back. So they go silent. And after some time, you think to yourself, I love this person. I want this relationship. And because of that, you decide to call them. I didn't just go ahead to call them, but sometimes I went ahead to apologize for what they did, because I'm like, all this, they've been silent for 2 weeks. Looks like maybe I was the one who was wrong. So let me just say sorry for this thing to go on. And that was one of the big red flags. The other thing is a person who never apologizes. And sometimes people laugh when I tell them that somebody can actually never apologize, because I've lived with them. Yeah, they do wrong. They'll just find a way of going around it. They will never remove a sorry. A sorry is a vocabulary in their talk. In their lifestyle, sorry is a vocabulary. It never comes out. No matter what, they'll never say sorry. And it skipped me. But it hit me hard in marriage. Because this person would never say sorry. No matter what they did, they would never say sorry. And that's a big red flag. If someone is not willing to own up to their wrongs and just say, I'm sorry, I know it hurt you. It just shows how much they feel you're unworthy. They don't value you. They don't value your emotions. That's why they will not swallow their pride. They will not swallow their ego for you. They'd rather lose you than say sorry. Red flags. The next red flag was dishonesty. Somebody who's lying all the time. Or you catch them lying. They said maybe they were traveling to this direction, and they didn't go that way. They actually went to the other direction. Or they said they were going to be available for you on this weekend, and all of a sudden they were not able. So they never keep their word. It's not that they have emergencies coming up in their life. No, that's going to be actually their lifestyle. When you get into a committed relationship, that will be their lifestyle. They will be inconsistent, dishonest, always having a second thing to say. It's Friday. They know they're supposed to come home, but they will always have a reason why not. Because they build dishonesty and you allowed it. So it grows. And that's a red flag that will always come up. You looked at it as small, but it will be big in marriage. Another flag is people don't just start fighting in marriage. Some people actually show you that they can actually fight you way before marriage. And that was one red flag I ignored. Or maybe, let me say, I handled it in a tough way and I thought I won. When we were just in a relationship, there's a time, I don't know what happened, I can't remember very well. And they just pointed at me and I was like, excuse me, what is that? What does that mean? I was like, do I look like I'm married to you? Why point me like that? And guess what? These people didn't point me again for the rest of the relationship. But when we got into marriage, in marriage, if I say back, they laid a slap and they would lay another one. And definitely, of course I didn't sit back. I fought back. I thought it was a red flag. I ignored the fact that somebody can actually have the energy to push your head with a finger or just point at you with your finger is a sure sign that given an opportunity, they will blow you either way. That is a red flag of a physical abuser. Another red flag is people who then celebrate your wins. Yeah. When they are winning, you celebrate them. You clap for them. When it's you, they're like, oh, okay. It doesn't sound like it actually happened. You even are the one pushing them to see the photos. Can you see the photos? Can you see where we went? They don't really want to see. They're not celebrating. You tell them, you know what? I was among the leading in class. And it's like, it's landing on some deaf ears. They don't even tell you, congratulations, well done. I like that. You were my girl. You're doing well. Do that again. Just look at you. And that was a red flag of people who don't celebrate you. And you're left wondering, what exactly are they for? Who exactly are they for? But at that time, because you're too much in love, you don't see it. You don't join the dots. And until later on in life, that's when you discover, oh, I now get it. That's a red flag. Have you tried to just celebrate yourself and see how they look at you? You could discover that they're really for you. The next thing I did was ignoring friends. I really ignored friends. Friends who told me, this person is moving out. This person does this on weekends. This person does this. For me, I was too naive, too trusting, too loving. I thought the way I love them is the same way they love me back. And whoa, what a good lie. I lied to myself. I ignored my friends. And that was really a bad red flag. I know they are evil friends, but sometimes you need to go back and look at your very friends that tell you those things. Just go and do your own due diligence. find out, did they mean well for you? Did they say the truth or they were lying? I didn't do that. And so I ignored all that because I thought they loved me back in the same measure. And lastly, I want to remind you, the one thing that will help you to monitor the red flags: keep yourself pure. Avoid intimacy. Because when you avoid intimacy, you will think soberly. When your friends tell you something, you will find out more. Because at that point, you're not attached. You're just there. You're actually watching and finding out, is this the right person or not the right person? You're very sober, making choices with a sober mind. Because let me remind you, you shouldn't fall in love. You should walk into love. I hope this episode helped you. Let me know one of the red flags that you ignored, or one of the red flags that you're thinking it's a red flag, but you're not very sure. Let's meet in the comment section. And I want to remind you to keep believing in yourself.